Are we live? It does appear as though we are live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox. Tonight, in the BrewLab, I'm coming at ya with some scalding clerics. Wow. Fresh off the press. It is a pretty much like exact copy of a deck that got me to Mythic about 4 seasons ago. But now that I'm playing Standard 2022 exclusively, we've lost some key pieces. I was relying more on the Speaker of the Heavens to keep making angels, and was the Speaker of the Heavens turn 1, Luminarch Aspirant turn 2, and then turn 3, and then turn 4. It was more of a Righteous Valkyrie into Blade Historian. We've lost a few pieces, but that's okay. We've also gained some new pieces. I think Cleric Class is an incredible 1-drop that fits this deck just perfect. I basically just copied that deck. It's still up on my Ether hub, but like from a few months back. And I took out all the cards that are no longer standard playable in this queue and try to find good replacements for them. And one really good one is actually Kitesail Cleric, which is of course also a cleric. So it still gets, even though minimal, the life gain when you drop it on top of a Righteous Valkyrie. But most importantly, it's pretty nice for the kicker cost because it's low. You can pay a kicker for 4 and tap 2 target creatures. So when you get to that point where you've built up a little bit of a board state and you've got your Blade Historian down and you want to get in for that double strike damage, and they might have at 1 or 2 many blockers in the way, you can just kick a Kitesail Cleric, tap up to 2 targeted creatures the opponent controls, and suddenly your way is free and you can get in for that damage with the Blade Historian double strike. So what's the deck trying to do? It's kind of like an aggro deck. The top end of the mana curve is something that costs 4, so we can run 22 land, which is what I am doing. There's nothing too expensive. We do want the game to end quite quickly, it's a typical Cleric Class deck. God, these stink bugs are disgusting. They're all over the place this time of the year, flying in through my window. Turn 1 Cleric Class, turn 2 either Dawnbringer Cleric, you select that gain 2 life. But it's nice that if you do pick up the Dawnbringer Cleric later in the game, you can also, in decks that are trying to build up a graveyard, let's say Mardu Reanimator or Prismari with the big spells in the graveyard that they're going to then use to bring back with either a Freet, or that they're going to do you a huge Draconic Intervention with, or whatever. You can exile a target card from a graveyard, which is pretty cool. Or you've killed a Planeswalker and you're expecting a Blood on the Snow, they're going to bring that Planeswalker back. You drop the Dawnbringer Cleric on the turn after the sweeper. You remove the Planeswalker that they're going to bring back with Blood on the Snow from the graveyard. So pretty cool. And then of course destroy target enchantment. There's so many classes that everybody's playing in almost every deck, myself included, that having a 2-drop that can get rid of their class is pretty damn sweet. And but most of the time we are gaining 2 life, and because it has 3 toughness, if you drop this on top of a Righteous Valkyrie, you're gaining 5 life, because it's 3 life for the toughness plus 2 life for the cure wounds. So that can often quickly bring you above the 27 life required for the Righteous Valkyrie to buff your entire squad. Next up, 3 copies of Luminarch Aspirant. Obvious inclusion in the Cleric deck, especially in one where we're trying to grow our Venerable Warsinger. Why are we trying to grow our Venerable Warsinger? Well, Vigilance Trample. We played this card in the Hoffrey Spirits deck just a few days ago. Whenever Venerable Warsinger deals combat damage to a player, you may return target creature card with mana value X or less from the graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of damage Venerable Warsinger dealt to that player. So the cool thing is it's got trample, so even if they do block with a 2/2 or 1/1, you can still bring back either a Kitesail Cleric or one of the 2-drops. But if nothing gets in the way of it, even just as it is, you can bring back your Righteous Valkyrie, which is super important, kind of the main point of the deck. But then, once you've grown it enough with Showdown of the Skalds and Luminarch Aspirant, it can fetch back anything from the deck. The highest cleric or creature that we have that might be in the graveyard in the whole deck is the Blade Historian. So once you've just gotten 1 or 2 counters on this thing, even if they've got a decent blocker up, you're going to get through for some damage and start bringing your creatures back to the battlefield, which, once they land on top of the Righteous Valkyrie, gain new life, which then triggers Cleric Class, putting counters on it, or wherever you want to put that counter, because the level 2 of Cleric Class says that whenever you gain life, you can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. But then the really cool thing is we don't just have Venerable Warsinger as a way to get things back from our graveyard. We also got Cleric Class. Once it gets to level 3, you can return a target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and you gain life equal to its toughness. And because the levels on class enchantments stack, you gain the life, and then you get to put a counter on that thing straight away. So like post field wipe, you've already got 1 or 2 level 2 Cleric classes lying around on your battlefield. You can level one of them up to level 3, and then the following turn do the next thing, and suddenly you're building your board state up again that way, whilst also growing those creatures and gaining life along the way. So 2 ways that we have of getting things that are removed or field wiped into our graveyard back. Cleric Class and Venerable Warsinger. Righteous Valkyrie, we all know, it's mostly seeing a lot of play in the Angels deck, but also in Clerics decks, because whenever another Angel or Cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. And as long as you have 7 or more life, that's than your starting total, so 27 and up, creatures you control get +2/+2. All creatures you control. So the game strategy is really just to gain life. There's a little bit of removal in the form of Rip Apart, Iron Verdict, and Meteor Swarm, which I'll talk about in a second. But we gain some life to the point where Righteous Valkyrie buffs the whole squad, and then at some point drop a Blade Historian and get in for a double strike with those big, creatures. And if, like I said earlier, there's things in the way, they've got stuff with reach, they've got bigger than you flyers, and all you need to do is for those things to be tapped. You're at one of those M passes. You top deck a Kitesail Cleric, you kick it, you tap 2 of his important blockers, opens up the way for attack, and you swing in for the kill. So yeah, I mean, it's really that simple. The removal is good. 3 copies Rip Apart, deals with enchantments and artifacts. Also does 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker, so pretty nice. An Iron Verdict takes care of the Goldspan Dragon. You can be foretold and then cast for just 1 at instant speed, and it can deal 5 damage to target creature. So most of the stuff in Standard 22 will get hit by Iron Verdict for 1 mana, instant speed. I think it's a pretty sweet little card. But then there's Meteor Swarm, which isn't seeing as much play as I thought it would, because it's a pseudo sweeper, but it's only one-sided. Let's say, let's compare it to other sweepers. Doomscar, if it hasn't been foretold, is cast for 5 mana. So if you cast Meteor Swarm for 5 mana, you can do 8 damage divided among 2 creatures. So, you often Doomscarring a field where the opponent only has 2 creatures on the board. And it's rare that they're both going to be of toughness higher than 8 total. So in a way, and then let's talk about Blood on the Snow. That's 6 mana, so you can do 8 damage divided up amongst 3 different creatures. So your little goblins decks, your mono white, mono green decks, you can do a fair bit of damage to them with this card. But it doesn't have to be in sweeper mode. You can just pay 4 mana and do 8 damage to a single target, which is huge. And the cool thing is it doesn't You don't only remove creatures, it's and or planeswalkers. So you can hit a highly plussed up Professor Onyx that's just about to -8 you, boom, off the field you go. I'm loving Meteor Swarm in this deck. It's kind of really nice removal, and that's it as far as removal. There's you can get rid of some enchantments and exile cards from graveyards with the Dawnbringer Cleric. You can do 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker with Rip Apart, or destroy a target artifact or enchantment. So we've got 2 ways of getting rid of enchantments. And then Iron Verdict, 5 damage to target tapped creature. So kind of a bit of a comeback trick, like as they attack, they think they gotcha, and you got no blocker, you just boom, Iron Verdict them. And then last but not least, in the removal category, Meteor Swarm. I think that little removal package is doing a pretty fair job of keeping us alive until the point where we can slam a Blade Historian and get in for the double strike with all of our creatures that we buffed up with the Luminarch Aspirant and the Showdown of the Skalds. Card draw, Showdown of the Skalds. Love this card. I've been putting in a lot of my brews in the last couple of days. I don't know if anybody you noticed, but I've been on a bit of a Lorehold binge, and it's such a good card. Exile the top 4 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. Usually you play something first, whatever that might be, one of these creatures, then you drop the Skalds. The following turn you start to cast the cards that were exiled and start putting counters on those cards. Hopefully they're Clerics, and you counter, you're dropping those cards on top of a Righteous Valkyrie. So then not only are you gaining life, but you're also putting more counters on Righteous Valkyrie to then be able to swing in for the kill once you drop the Blade Historian. It's nothing too complicated, but I've been liking these types of deck lately. Like, tops out at about 4 mana cost. Nice, fast early game with a slight sort of mid-game plan. Again, our worst enemy is definitely a sort of sluggish Blood on the Snow type of a deck. Dimir Control, the new Blood Money deck, Orzhov Blood Money deck. Like, those are our worst enemies. But we're farming, mono green, mono white, and sometimes even Prismari Dragons just doesn't know quite what to do, because you've got some flyers in the way, and if you get them to be big enough, quick enough, they can't get around them, and that usually ends the game. So that's it. I hope I've done a fair job of explaining what it is that we're trying to do. We're running 22 lands, 6 plains, 6 mountains, 4 snarls, 2 campuses, 4 pathways. It's kind of my typical layout these days. Whenever I'm not playing snow lands, I'm playing this setup in the color combos that do have snarls and campuses. 4, 4, 2, 6, and 6. And it's been working really good for me. Alright, without further ado, let's get into some scalding clerical action. At this point in the stream, if I could ask all of my viewers to kindly consider subscribing to the channel. I've recently broken 135. I would love to get to 150 by the end of the month, and you can help me get there. It takes no effort. You just hit the little subscribe button and you make a little lone fox the happiest man on the planet. And of course, if I can, if it's not too much to ask, consider liking the video, leaving a comment down below, which also really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and hit the bell notification icon if you want to be notified of future streams. Okay, mono green. With Frostbite, Blizzard Brawl, and oh no, elves. Okay, nice. Snow elves. Very nice. Nice to get that many Valkyries in the opening hand. A little bit cheeky. Should be a pretty easy win unless they got removal, but they don't often run much of it. Yeah, let's start doing some damage. can block with the Dawnbringer Cleric if I need to, and then we're well above 27 next turn. Hopefully we'll draw some land and we can start using some removal.
Our legacy will celebrate us like the gods of old.
Ouch. It's a big field.
Strike like the cosmos serpent.
That's gotta hurt. An easy game one. That felt nice. That felt really nice. It's the last few hours of, well, not few, but I think something like 15 odd hours are left in the season. Hopefully I'll end up in the slightly higher 80 percentile. I'm going to stream for an hour with this deck and then probably just switch into my Angels deck that got me into Mythic in the first place and try and push a little bit higher before the season ends entirely. And then tomorrow we've got this downtime maintenance and new patch to the client. They haven't released the change log or the change notes yet. Billy, Edwin, my brothers, good to have you on the streams. Thanks for your undying support. You're some of my faves. Always coming through for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Billy, like, played Historian just kind of faded off a little bit. Like, it was so good in the Winota deck, and then so many new cards came out in AFR, and people just left it a little bit to the wayside. But it's still just such a good card to slam on turn 4 and just get double strike with everything. It's phenomenal. So this hand is definitely going to require some lands coming from the top of the deck. There we go. That's what I like to see. It's looking like rogues. Give me your rogues. With Xanathar top end. That sucks. We can't get them to turn 6. Ooh. Like, I'm kind of okay with a few things ending up in my graveyard though. And we don't have to deal with drowning the lock turn 2. That kind of stuff anymore. Probably have removal though. This might be poison the cup. If it's not poison the cup, it's saw it coming. Might be peer into the cosmos or whatever it's called. Scry 2, draw 2. Go away, stink bug. Yeah. Okay, now I'm scared to play. Decisions. I got 2 of both, so if it is a counter spell, probably rather they counter my Showdown. Yeah, that's okay. At least they can't flash in their Thieves Guild Enforcer. Oh god, that's terrible. This is probably a, I don't know what. be able to mill 21 cards in one turn. That has to be Poison the Cup, right? No? Okay, so he taps out. That's game over. Two straight wins, baby! Back to 81%. Nice. That deck you just played me with, Billy, was actually pretty sweet, to be honest. But the one that you played me yesterday, I know it was running a lot of the arena-only cards, which I'm not a fan of, but that was some seriously well thought out stuff, bro. That was sick. That was a really strong feeling mono blue. And if you're going to be playing best of one, then that was sick, dude, honestly. I was really, really impressed. You thrashed me. All that card drawing with the wizard class. Great stuff. I'm hoping he plays Rangers class. Oh, even better. I wonder what he's going to pick. Elves. Ferret. What? What? Okay. Should we kill it? Or just play a threat? A ferret? What card's a ferret? Takes 3. Mr. Love. Okay, it's Selesnya. Why ferret? I can't think of a card that's a ferret. Interesting. Blizzard Brawl kinda sucks. Need one more land to bring the Venerable Warsinger back with the Cleric class. And then we'll slam a Blade Historian. Okay, they're just getting all their lands. They're already at the point where they just are of any color. Another Yasharn. I'm expecting Druid class or something. Plays 2 creatures, we can tap them, although we'll have to pay 1 for each one we tap. Okay. This might be nice though. Watch this. Yes. He only takes 3. That's enough. Next turn. Hopefully he's not running Doomscar. Morton BMX. First time I'm seeing you on the oh wow. Ow. That's not good. That's really not good. Interesting. Ward 10. Nice. I'm still trying to figure out what ferret he was trying to bring back. Ah, caramba. Whew. Yeah, not bring back, but you know, earlier he cast that, what's it called, the Ring Hard Crest. I haven't ever played against the Tarrasque. It's the first time I'm coming up against it. Yeah, with the treasures, there's a lot of rampant black now, Billy. Shambling Ghast, Deadly Dispute is like becoming the most seen, like turn 1, turn 2 play that in standard 2022. Like, I can't tell you the number of times that I see that on a daily basis. Just trying to see what's the other comment there. Using Monoblade Historian in my white 2 spell deck. Everyone else is running Snowlands with Heavens, but Blades so much better. I agree. Okay, I would love to see that, dude. If you don't mind, if you have the time and you're not, you know, if it's not too much to ask, if you could send me that list in the email of the YouTube channel. You'll find it in the additional info, because I love me some 2 spell decks. It can be, you know, both mono white or Orzhov, like the one I did yesterday, which also was super duper fun. which one is he going to want to remove? He can destroy both. Oh no, you can get rid of this one. Can't get rid of yeah, okay, now you can get rid of both. Okay. But that's fine, because we just swing in. It comes into play tapped. Foretell another Cleric Class. I thought. Bring it back. Cast it again. That little combo is quite sweet. Yeah, Mind Flayer. There's still people playing it in there's a lot of people playing it in with Thassa in Old Standard. Super dodgy. Oops. My bad. For my own creature. Unfortunately. Non-basic, non-creature permanents that share a type. Nothing. Except for the actual Trickster's Heist and one of the enchantments. Which is okay. I gained 3 life. Okay. You could still attack me with the Faceless Haven, which kinda sucks. That's 9 damage. Horse. This little combo is getting really frustrating. Finally. Nasty. Whoops. Death's nice. Another Blood on the Snow would be terrible. But I wouldn't put it past him. Oh, wow. Okay. Nice. Very nice. Still. Whew. Yeah, I know the one, Edwin. You played me against it a few times. It's good. That what's it called? The backside of Jarn, the Caldring, the Rhyme Staff. Keep bringing back that little priest, and then it just, you know, the more lands you have, the bigger the removal gets. It's a nice little loop. It's really frustrating, as exemplified in this video, in that match. Yeah. Which one are you talking about, Edwin? Was it the one that you played against me? Also, the first match we played today was the mono black Turgrid Professor Onyx pile. That thing was crazy. You thrashed me. No? Who's keeping score? 2 wins, 1 loss? Not bad, not bad. It's a bit of a wonky one. Would love more creatures, but also don't want to mulligan on the play. Got some removal, let's try and pull it through. Tap land, nice. So this is 2, but because of the Cleric class it's actually 3. Ooh. Guys re-attempting dwarves. Rogues. Sure. No problem. Feel a Xanathar deck coming my way. Definitely double scalding next turn if we don't, if we're not facing down counter magic. Almost certainly counter magic, but it's worth a try. At the worst, we just get a counter on the Dawnbringer. That's what I thought. It's getting to that point. need to get our... Okay, we need some clerics now. He does have manlands, which are a little bit problematic. Yeah, I saw Malone's rogue deck. It's better than the one I put together, that's for sure. What? Floodsville. Oh, come on. What a load of crap. There's only 22 lands in the deck. I haven't drawn it. Like, I've drawn 2 creatures. And we had a Showdown of the Skalds. It's like we've gone through quite a fair number of cards at the top of the deck. At least it seems the opponent is also flooding like crazy. It's probably a counterspell though. No? Okay. Hat. I hope you mill something good into my graveyard that I want. Nah. Except for Skalds. That's the only thing I didn't want you to mill. Definitely the Luminarch. It's like every land in my deck. Okay, Venture. Ooh, nice. You get to bring back. It's all my Showdowns though. No more card draw. Just top decking the rest of the game. God, how many lands is it possible to get? Oh yeah. that's nice. GG. Sure. You're gonna salty rope me? Oh. Probably take my Showdown if I were him. It's not gonna win the game though. Don't think. Oh, what's he got? Nighthawk. Oh, Crippling Fear. No, that's okay too. Nighthawk. I still win. Oh baby. The trample on this Venerable is so sweet. Yeah, man, like, thanks guys. I've got you guys, like, honestly helping the channel out more than you know. You're providing me with like fresh ideas daily. Stuff that I can like work on. And like get inspired by. So thank you. Keep them coming. And of course being invaluable like play testers and good friends to the channel and to me. Three wins, one loss. Nice. Bye bye, rogues. Off you go. Please come again. One land short of it being a real good hand, but that's actually pretty sweet. Now we need a land. Like 2 lands would be perfect. Could be worse. This is Blood on the Snow deck. Okay. Now when they have a Sedgemoor Witch down and you remove it and you've left something important on the field, then they tend to remove what you've got left. If you leave their Sedgemoor Witch on the field, then they start to play spells so that they can use the Sedgemoor Witch. So it's kind of this like 50-50 sitch. Oh baby. although he's probably going to grab Necrotic Fumes. It's horrible. Still a nice 6 damage to the face, isn't bad. Then we can Showdown next turn. Okay, he doesn't even get Necrotic Fumes. He goes for the Pest Summoning. Which will make a total of 3 pests and ping me for 1 life. That's okay. Could probably attack with the Witch. Get me down underneath 27. That's what I would do. Nice. Top deck city. Back up. Do you have a village rights in hand? I knew it. Let's just go in the air for 10. We've still got card draw to like sort of come back from whatever. He's still 2 turns away from the Blood on the Snow. I think we got him. Hunting for removal for my flyer, which would be a bit of a disaster. That might just be game. Ropey, ropey, salty, ropey. Another Deadly Dispute, but that one shouldn't be enough mana to do. Oh, you've got 3 mana. It's Poison the Cup, but it's not Bloodchief's Thirst. Could be Baleful Mastery. Could be Flunk. Flunk would get me. You know, would get the Valkyrie. Oh, no, it wouldn't. 7 minus 1, 6. Can't get the Valkyrie with Flunk. Ooh, mega Flunk. Ready to kill yourself. Boom. 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 Okay. That's GG. That's what I thought. Nice. 4 wins, 1 loss. The deck's doing the thing. Oh, thanks guys. Oh, guys. Thank you so much, man. Truly, that makes me feel so good. Thank you so much for your kind words. I do try my best. I don't know, were both of you on the stream the other night where I ended up sort of standing and tilting my monitor up and I had the baby on the one shoulder and I was still trying to win the night with the equipment deck? That was horrible. Hey, but I still managed to finish the stream. That's a nice hand. That is a nice hand. I like it. We want to keep this for turn 4. Kick it. Block 2 blockers. Tap 2 blockers. Red. Bye-bye. We can still keep the other rip apart for the inevitable Ranger class that I have a feeling will come next. Old Growth Troll. Okay. So then we just start on the usual plan. Although we can't block this guy. If he drops one more forest, we're Blizzard Brawl. That kind of sucks. Alright, mono green, my nemesis. Come on, Skalds. We need Skalds. Another Blizzard Brawl, for sure. Yeah. Oh, even worse. This deck's so good. It's probably the best deck in Standard right now. Yeah, we're screwed. We are screwed. You know, we put a blocker in the way. Can do this. Try and survive one more turn. They just keep playing threats, and they're always big, tramply threats. Another fight spell. Blizzard Brawl, huh? Who would have thought it would be such a good card when it first dropped? And now suddenly, with AFR, it's like a 4 of in the mono green deck. Nice. Well done, opponent. Ooh, you're quitting smoking. Edwin, that's a great idea. I don't know if you might want to try the vape instead, if to kind of wean you off, but that just might replace one vice with another. But if you're struggling with the quitting, then I highly recommend vaping as an interim. What I did was I used to smoke a bit, not a huge smoker, but I started toning down. I switched to the vape, which got me off the smokes, and then I started with really high nicotine, and then I slowly turned the nicotine down until the point where I'm now sitting on like 3 milligram nicotine, and it's like 95% better for your lungs. I've read all the paperwork. I'm guaranteeing you, like the Royal College of Physicians is the body of medics that did that study, and it's so much better than smoking. If you want to smoke something, then you should smoke this. Alright guys, we've reached the 1 hour mark. I think we did a very nice run with the deck. Some very convincing performances. I think the final score there was 4-2. Not bad. We saw what our enemies were. Good matchups. We had some horrible time against mono green there. I don't think there's any changes I would make. I do get occasionally mana screwed because of my decision to drop down to 22, but then sometimes we got flooded, so it doesn't really matter. Once you've got 4 lands, the whole deck starts to pop off, and yeah, maybe some changes in the removal. We could run Expel instead of Iron Verdict, which costs 3, just like Iron Verdict if it's not foretold, and then you're exiling instead of only dealing 5 damage. Might be the one card that could be replaced in here, but I feel like everything else is pretty solid the way it is. We could also change maybe Showdown of the Skalds for you know, Sparring Regiment or something like that, and then just go up 1 copy of Luminarch Aspirant and grow the Venerable Warsinger that way. But I like it the way it is for now. I really like playing Showdown of the Skalds in my Boros decks, so I'm going to leave it as it is, and this will be the version that is available for upload and copying on either hub and in the video description down below. I'm going to call it a night and hit the sack, but thank you all so much for watching. Those of you who stick around to the end, you're my favorite people. Thanks, Billy, for rewatching the streams to help with the algorithm. It really is helping. I'm approaching that 150 subscriber mark by the end of the month, so you know, share the video to all your friends, and hopefully we can get there. I'm gonna be coming back at you tomorrow with some fresh brews as always. I'm looking at a Selesnya build that's sort of almost ready. This Magecraft deck with Monk class is also looking pretty sweet. Edwin's had a taste of that. We had a very nice game where I won narrowly against his snow deck. Yeah, otherwise I'm looking at using the Archduke of Regents, Archduke of Zariel +1 and give everything haste ability. I've done that already with the deck I was just looking at, with the Regent. So you give the Westgate Regent haste and attack straight away. But another one to give haste to, which is really nice, you know, Drana, the Last Blood Chief. The problem with this card was always that you had to play it on turn 5, and then you had to wait until next turn, and then you still had to actually get in for the damage, and then you would be able to return a creature from the graveyard to the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. But if you've got haste, then you can drop it on turn 5, haste it with Zariel, and attack straight away. Suddenly it becomes a really good turn 5 way of reanimating something important from the graveyard, and also dealing for 5 damage at that point. So I'm looking at maybe a Rakdos Vampires with Drana at the top end. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. This is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.